Hi, and thanks for joining me on my very first episode of Ted's Everyday Eats on YouTube. We're going to take our skewer and we're going to go right off a dash or two of cayenne pepper. That's real. It definitely has that flavor. Hi, and this is the first time I'm going to be cooking with you from my kitchen to your screen. And I hope you enjoy what I make, and I hope you give it a try with your family and your friends. Today, for the first recipe, we're going to be making a Gyro Pita. So many of you are very familiar with what a gyro sandwich is from a bit of a fast food place. On the gyro spiral, shaving that meat down in a pita with some toppings. Well, today we're going to make that at home and show you what an easy dish it is to actually make with the right ingredients. Before we get started, since this is a Greek dish, I figure why not start off this YouTube channel right with a shot of metaxa, one of the traditional Greek liqueurs. So we're going to toast, this is really metaxa, we're going to toast to a great YouTube channel and many more episodes to come. That's real, it's not fake. What we're going to do is we're going to make it at home. The difference with, I think, when we make it at home is this is going to have so much more flavor than what you find in any sort of fast food place. It's going to taste very fresh because you're going to mix these ingredients with that beef and lamb mixture, and you're going to eat it pretty much right away. You don't have to let this marinate a ton. You can let it sit and let the spices blend into the meat, but this is one of those great dishes that you can mix it up and you can go. So what are the ingredients? What are we dealing with? We're going to have a pound of ground lamb and a pound of 80-20 ground beef. We want some fat in there. We're going to have 2 tablespoons of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of dried Greek oregano, a tablespoon of cumin, a half teaspoon of cloves, and salt and pepper. We're also going to have 2 tablespoons of chicken base and beef base. This is really going to make it that really rich flavor. And then we're going to have some tomatoes, some onions, some parsley for the toppings along with the tzatziki into our pita. And so we're going to add in the onion powder, the garlic powder, the oregano, the cumin, the cloves, and the salt and pepper. And we're going to mix this by hand till it's all thoroughly mixed in. We're going to go ahead, we're going to add in the chicken base and the beef base. So we're going to mix this by hand and finish this up. Our meat mixture is fully combined. We are all set to now getting it ready to skewer up. One of the things that I find very helpful for a dish like this is instead of putting the meat directly on a skewer from a big pile in the bowl, there's a couple things that you can do first. One, put it in the fridge for about 10 minutes. It'll firm up a little bit and it'll make it a little bit easier to work with. The second is a trick that I like to use where I will take a sheet pan and I am going to lay all of the meat out in my sheet pan. And from here, what I can do is then I can divide it up into equal sized portions that will go on each skewer. With a dish like this, we're going to have 2 pounds of meat. And what's nice is we can make 8 quarter-pound size skewers from this recipe. Of course, if you want, you can always cut that recipe in half if you're looking for just 4. But one of the nice things also about this dish is you can make it and put these in the freezer, both sized up for the skewers or just even the meat mixture itself directly in the freezer. We're going to go ahead and we're going to measure it up from here. Now, one of the things that I like to do when I spread it out is make it just about the size that it's going to go on the skewer here. What we can do is just take a knife or any sort of a scraper and just start dividing this in half and half and half. So I'm going to divide this in half, which gives me 2. Divide each of those in half, that gives me 4. Divide each of those in half, and there are my 8 that are going to go on my skewers. And a few might be a little bit longer. Might have to take a little bit off and kind of share them, but that gives me what are going to be my 8 skewers. What you always want to do, if you're using wooden skewers, make sure you soak them for at least 30 minutes beforehand, so that when you do start cooking with them, either outside on the grill or inside on a griddle top, that the wooden skewers don't burn. You can also use metal skewers, doesn't really matter. These are going to cook up pretty quick because they're not going to be that thick. What we're going to do is we're going to put them on a skewer, kofta kebab style. Let's get those skewers and let's start skewering these up. Take one of the rows of meat, as we're going to sort of make these round. And from there, we're going to take our skewer and we are going to stick it through the end, sort of in the middle, all the way through, because we're now going to press the meat, and we're going to keep it about the same size all the way through the skewer. We're going to go ahead and we're going to repeat this process for the extra skewers. Our griddle is ready and smoking, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to add these skewers on. You hear a little bit of that sizzle as we put it on. And these aren't going to take that long to cook. These will actually only take about 5 minutes or so total. We're going to turn them as we need to. Our gyro is cooked to perfection. I have warmed up our pitas. Now it's time to assemble. And this is really up to your personal, your taste and what you like. Of course, you've got to add some tzatziki. And I've got some of my mom's, Yaya Nancy's, homemade tzatziki. The recipe is available on my Instagram, and I'll make it available in other places. But first, put as much or as little as you like. I like it a little saucy, so I always like to put a little extra on mine. We are going to put some red onion in there. We are going to put a couple tomatoes in there. And then we are going to take our skewer and we're going to go right off into the pita. We're going to give it a little garnish of parsley and then just a dash or 2 of cayenne pepper. Wrap it in a piece of foil and you have the perfect on-the-go gyro pita ready for a daily dinner, an everyday eat, whatever you want. It's going to be delicious, I promise. I'm going to give it a little taste just to see. It definitely has that flavor. So let's talk about this dish. The first time that I made it was on the Great American Recipe Season 2, Episode 4 for the Grab and Go Challenge. I had actually never made this before until that challenge for my very first time. I'm so happy that I attempted it. I think it's a pretty good theme for what this YouTube channel endeavor is for me. Trying something new, possibly failing, possibly having maybe a little burnt piece on the little edge here like this one, but going back to it and trying to master it. I want to thank you for joining me for this very first episode. I hope that you try this recipe for your friends and for your family. I hope that you enjoy it and let me know how it goes. Definitely give me some comments in the sections below. And if you'd be so kind as to subscribe to this channel, I am going to be posting hopefully a couple times a month with different recipes. And if there's anything specific that you want me to try, definitely let me know. Thanks for joining me, and I am so happy to be bringing my cooking from my kitchen to your screen.